Hollywood Actor Podcast with Killian McHugh, Part 2.
How do you think an actor can really calibrate himself specifically for commercials, be it going to classes or making sure they have the right agent?
Well, both of those things. You have to take the right class, a good class, where they know what they're talking about. And now agencies, it's a little different now from when I first started. When I first started, it was all every morning. It was so terrible for trees. Every morning, every agent, you would receive a package for the jobs you're doing. And this is every casting director in town. And then you open those packages. And then you would put your A-list, in our world, A-list agent talent at the top of the floor, and then B and C, and then other. And then you would fill it with the A's, and if there was other things, you'd go to B's and stuff like that. With the invention of electronic submissions, it's not like that anymore. So you see everybody, and you just go through them. They're literally, it's the size of a thumbnail. And so there's not just 5 giant agencies anymore. There's lots of places where you can go to find talent. So that's evened a little bit with electronic submission. So that's a good thing. So you don't have to worry that your place isn't big enough or it's just boutique or whatever. As long as they're getting you out, they're getting you out. And that's the bottom line. So you submit, you get the agent, and ask your friends, social media, look on Yelp, all that stuff. And then you meet with them and you get a vibe. And then you try it out for 90 days. And if they don't get you out, you're out of the contract. And then you find somebody else, you know. So the agency name isn't as important as, of course, every office still has their favorites, you know. And you have your favorites files. But people aren't let me say it this way. People aren't discounted just because they're in a little boutique agency anymore. So that's good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, it gives hope to the middle class actor.
Yes.
And you highly encourage actors that are pursuing commercials to be in class. I mean, obviously you have Killian's workshop.
So we have the adult workshop, which is like a boot camp. It's very, very boot camp. I'm no bullshit in that room because commercials are technical. It's not about your talent, and you have to know the technical aspects of auditioning for the commercial world. So we do the adult workshop boot camp. Then I have a specific class for callbacks because that's a completely different animal. You know, the callback room is completely different than the first call. So you have to know that technique and how to master that room. And for that class, 30% of the people who take that class book within 4 weeks of taking it pretty much every month since I opened the doors. That's insane. 30% in 4 weeks. Most book before the 4 weeks, but 30% in 4 weeks is incredible. So then I had to do a separate class for improv because improvising in the commercial world is not the Groundlings on a Friday night show. They do their thing very well. All in Groundlings, Second City, iOS, UCB, they're great. But they don't link it to my world because they're not supposed to. So commercial world, the directors do want improv, but it's very specific and very different. So I have to teach that as well. So there are different aspects to it. But I think you do need to know what you're doing first. Yes.
When you offer ongoing classes as well, right, for people to come in and do a mock audition.
Well, I have the actor's gym where you come in once a week and then you work out those muscles. It's a mock audition.
Because I've been finding that's it's vital for especially for theatrical. I personally haven't been getting enough commercial auditions where I need to keep that engine running because I feel ill prepared for the auditions I'm getting. But I think that does make sense to keep both of those engines as they were running because the commercial world, like you're saying, is completely different. It does ask a lot of different things that are much more technical in many ways.
Well, and circling back to your own career as a commercial casting director and then transitioning to a commercial acting coach, I think it's terrific that you wanted to invigorate the community.
And you seem like such a pillar as well. I always see you posting on Facebook. You're always talking about the unions and how important it is for us to band together and reach out. I love that you've asserted yourself. You've created that place for yourself within the industry.
Well, I think it's very strong. I'm a very I mean, I grew up a union kid, um, teachers union, et cetera, and it's just the only way anyone gets a fair wage. So I think it's very, very important. Now, I'm not against the people who are coming here who are non-union. As I say in all the meetings, we're all born non-union. So we can't hold that against them. I got here, I did non-union work for $40 a day, you know? So that's what you do. But what we want to do is get these non-union actors hyped up to be in the union eventually and as soon as possible. You know, for me, that was a huge goal. And as a kid, nobody knew this, but as a kid, I found out that there was a Screen Actors Guild and that, you know, it's a union, you got to pay. So I had a secret savings account for my union dues. So that as soon as I got my third voucher, I ran down to that office and I was so proud to do that. And now, you know, it's your agent says, you know, stay non-union as long as possible. All the work is non-union and commercials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what we need is for people to be as excited as I was, you know, 25 years ago, to run down to that office and sign up.
Right. I was excited,
So I'm
Killian.
trying to help in any way that I can.
Yeah. I came to LA 3 years ago and I hopped off the Amtrak train. And I still had my suitcase and I went into the SAG-AFTRA building down there on Wilshire and Fairfax. And I was so proud to sign up.
That's awesome.
It's been
That's so
tricky.
cool.
I've been trying to negotiate, you know, how that works because it seems like it works a lot better for the theatrical world than it does for the commercial world. And so I did want you to speak a little bit to that as to how actors, when they move to LA and they really want to sign up for the union and then they become union, how they can negotiate that transition. Some people like myself and like you were really excited. We go to the union. We try to sign up as soon as we can. We
Right.
want to be team players. We want to be part of that community
Right.
of peers that are helping to negotiate our wages, our health care, our insurance. And some people, they are encouraged increasingly to wait a little longer. And that's everybody's question here. You always see it on the different Facebook pages, different online resources. People ask, when is it time? You know, when should I join the union? And especially for people that are booking regularly non-union commercial work,
Yeah.
it can be a difficult choice for them to make because theatricals is, you know, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
If you do want to be working in TV and film, those are almost exclusively union projects.
I mean, what I say to people is nobody came here to book commercials. It's a great way to subsidize your artistic life. And that's really all it is. I feel my contribution to the arts is helping actors sustain their livelihoods so they can pursue their dream, which is theatrical. So you're going to have to join because you want to be in movies and television. And so that's the goal. So the commercial thing shouldn't be the hindrance, you know? Now, if you do not have an agent theatrically, and you're, you know, SAG eligible, but you're booking all these non-union commercials, I don't know if, and I'll probably get in trouble from people for saying this, logically, if I'm that actor in this current climate, does it make sense for me to join that union? That's the part that the union has to work on to make that appealing for the actor, you see? So I don't blame that actor for staying SAG eligible because they don't even have a theatrical yet. So they're not going to get that movie shot. They're not going to get that television series, you know? So I think it's the union's obligation to make that appealing to the actor, not the other way around.
And in the meantime, people might be booking more non-union commercials than non-union theatrical. And so they are firmly in that world. And as they're looking to join the union, they want to keep working in general.
Well, that's the thing. They want to keep working.
How
yes.
can actors really try to help encourage the union, like you do, to hold these production companies accountable, to make sure that big companies do regularly create these union commercials to support the health of the actors living here
Well,
in
you
LA?
have to go to the meetings and you have to go to the protests. You know, you have to be involved. And, you know, a couple of years ago, I said this at one of the meetings. I found it fascinating. I'm making up the number. It was either 13 or 19%. I think maybe 19, but it might be 13. It's so low. 1 year for our SAG vote, we also had a mayoral vote in Los Angeles. And either 13 or 19% of the population voted for mayor, and it was the exact same population that voted for SAG, that voted in the SAG elections. And I just find that incomprehensible. That 13% of the second largest city in the United States, and nobody votes, you know. And same thing now with SAG. And so if you don't vote, you can't bitch. And if you don't protest, you can't bitch. You know, if you don't get off your ass and get into the streets, then you cannot bitch. In my opinion.
Yeah, you got to have some skin in the game, and it starts with voting, right?
Yeah. And I've never had a problem being vocal, so I go to the meetings and I'm very vocal.
And where can people find out about the meetings? On SAG's website?
Yeah, they're all over the place. They're posted everywhere. I was posting them on my page for a while, but they have so many. I mean, it's impossible to do. But they have them very clearly marked on their website.
And getting a little bit specific as to how we can push that agenda a little forward. You were talking about reaching out to celebrities, trying to get them to help to mandate within their contracts union commercial work for a production company's following projects. Is that something that you're still trying to champion?
It's a hard question to answer because I don't want to come on here and just sound like a union basher and a person who's just bitter or angry. But I did a lot of that outreach, and I worked on it a lot, and I got a stone wall from the people running SAG leadership at the moment. So I'm not as vocal as I was because I don't have their support. So what's the point, you know? So I'm doing things in my own little way that I try to do when I meet people and talk to people and when I'm out and the celebrities that I know. But I do not feel that the Screen Actors Guild leadership at the moment, SAG-AFTRA leadership at the moment, is holding A-listers accountable for their actions. No, I do not believe that at all. And that's unfortunate because I don't think we can do it without them, you see. So the way it's working now in commercials is they'll spend $2 million for Sofia Vergara for a Pepsi, and then they'll shoot all the rest of them for the year non-union to recoup the money. So I believe that these A-list celebrities have an obligation, if not legal, moral, to their fellow artists to say, if you're going to use my face for this one day, you're going to use union actors for the rest of the year, or you don't get my face. And they would say yes, because they have the money.
That sounds like powerful leverage. Yeah.
I think so too. And yet the current leadership at SAG does not share my philosophy. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find those individual strategies. I like that you're posting about trying to figure out these different ways in, these different points of leverage, because you do see that exactly what you were speaking to. There is one celebrity that works on a big union commercial, and then a string of non-union commercials follow. Or you see big celebrities that are in non-union commercials, or big celebrities that help produce for their own company non-union commercials.
That's right. I've been after Kate Hudson and Gwyneth Paltrow for over a year, and the president of SAG-AFTRA, David White, the lawyer, have done absolutely zero about it. They are scared to death of A-listers. They are scared to death of A-listers. For whatever reason, I cannot figure that out. That's the part I don't get.
I can only think of money and influence. I mean,
well, I don't know. I just think it's a no-brainer. And then when the president of SAG tells me that she can't just pick up a phone and contact a celebrity, she said, we don't have everybody's information. I said, you have everything. You have our social security cards. I said, the SAG-AFTRA awards are coming up. How does anybody know where to go? Somebody has to tell them. You can call Johnny Depp. You can call. You're the president of SAG. You can go on Ellen and talk about the union, which you do none of these things. So I get frustrated because I'm a very let's get to this kind of a guy once I get my mind wrapped around something. So I do think that SAG can call celebrities. I think they can say, listen, we need this plan. I think you can say things at our award ceremonies. It's just they choose not to. And that's the perplexing issue.
But a good way to get a little skin in the game for the average actor, the middle class actor rather, is to just start voting and just go to these meetings. Just
go to the meetings.
Try to have your voice heard.
Yes, that's who I'm advocating for. This is my main thing is the middle class actor, and having them survive because it's very hard to survive now in this city. So, but you got to go. You got to do stuff too. You got to get up. You got to vote. You know, when I first started posting on Facebook about stuff, I got 500 likes and 85 shares. And then the last thing I posted about Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop, not one share. So now we can't even share on Facebook? That's too much to ask? I don't know. You have to be involved. It's your union. It's your livelihood. It's your career. You have to be involved.
Thanks for listening to the Hollywood Actor Podcast. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening.